Does Joyride suck? Now, I saw the first clip from the trailer of this movie on TikTok. You know, the one where the kid's like, the slide is off limit to ching chongs. And of course, the little girl's like, you, and then hits him in the face. Ha, very funny. But then I saw the trailer for this movie and I'm like, you know what? There's that clip. Let's give this movie a try. But does this movie suck? The question still stands. Hey guys, my name is Brandon, aka the BrandoCritic. Thank you guys so much for being with me today. I really do appreciate it. I was able to see Joyride a few days early, and I'm here today to tell you if it sucks or not. But let me know, guys. Are you guys big fans of raunchy comedies? Are you guys looking forward to Joyride? Do you even know what movie I'm talking about? And you're just here just because you want to hear me talk. Whatever the case may be, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section down below. And if you've seen the movie, let me know your thoughts as well. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Whatever it is, let me know. And make sure you guys stick around to the end of the video so you know my rating of the film, or also maybe going to a film that might not be right for you. I can't believe I got through that without stumbling. Let's leave it in there. Let's move on. Let's get going. Here we go. So Joyride is directed by Adele Lim, and this is actually her first directorial debut. I guess everyone only has one debut behind the director's chair. In the director's chair, let's leave it in. Why not? But she has written quite a few movies before, like Raya the Last Dragon, Crazy Rich Asians. There's a theme going in here. She is of Asian descent, so this is her wheelhouse. And the movie stars, I wrote it down here, Stephanie Hsiao, if I mispronounced that, I apologize, Ashley Park, Sherry Cola, and Sabrina Wu, amongst many others. And the story is that these four girls are going on this big road trip, even though it's more of a just plane trip, a big business meeting for Ashley Park's character. She is a lawyer and she wants to close this deal, and she's in China, but she also might want to go visit her birth mother because she's adopted, she's American, but she never actually met her Chinese family. And of course, these girls are going on this big trip, lots of hijinks ensue, but of course they want to learn more about each other. That's what generally happens on these road trip movies. That's the thing, when you hear of Joyride, you think of just like a road trip, but there's really no road trip in the movie. Yeah, they go from place to place to place in China and in Korea, but it's not really like a road trip movie. But I digress. That's like the general gist of the story. So what did I think of this movie? Well, this is where demographic comes into play. I didn't really like this movie very much, but I do believe that a certain group of people will like this movie. I'm a 27-year-old white dude, and I firmly believe that if a movie is really fantastic, it doesn't matter what the target demographic is, it can be enjoyed by anybody. I use Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris from last year as a prime example. That movie is about an elderly woman who loves to sew and loves fashion. I'm not really a big fashion guy, and I'm definitely not an elderly white woman, but I really enjoyed that movie because I thought it was really well done. I love the characters. This movie is definitely not for me. This is definitely a girls' night, get the bottle of wine, get out some charcuterie, and like, let's just watch like a raunchy movie on a Friday night, girls' night, you know, nice bath with some candles, that kind of stuff. I think that this movie can be enjoyed in that kind of context, but for me, I didn't really enjoy this movie, and I understand that there's some heart in here, but I felt like the movie was just kind of lazy. And a perfect example for me of why this film was lazy, and it's something that really only I or people living in Vancouver will realize. This movie was filmed here in my hometown of Vancouver, British Columbia. Lots of movies are being filmed here. But this movie commits the cardinal sin of taking place in Seattle, Washington, just about 2 or 3 hours away. But of course, it's being filmed in Vancouver. But I think that, of course, this is an American movie. Americans don't really know much about Canada, and they don't want to watch a movie that takes place in Canada. So of course it takes place in Seattle, but the Seattle airport is actually being filmed at the Vancouver airport. And I realized that, I'm like, hey, there's YVR airport. But here's the thing, and this is like really minor spoiler. They fly from the Seattle airport to the Shanghai airport, but I noticed that they're both filmed at the Vancouver airport, and they literally just walked like 2 minutes down the runway into a different section of the airport, and the airport looks exactly the same, but they just tell the audience, no, we're in Shanghai now. And I'm like, but the airport looks exactly the same. I realize that because I go there all the time, but that's the thing. You just move from gate 1 to gate 2. It's like, different airport. It's designed exactly the same. Now, I get it. This is like a nitpick, but this is just an example of the laziness that I felt. But I'll be honest, the big reason why I think that other people will find this movie lazy is the humor. I feel like this movie went for just the bottom of the barrel with the juvenile, crass humor, just because it's juvenile and crass humor. And it's like, oh my god, sex is a taboo subject. Let's talk about it and make jokes about it all the time. And it's not clever at all, right? So you have our main character played by Ashley Park. She plays Audrey, and she's the hotshot lawyer. but her best friend from when she was a kid is Lolo, and she is just this barnacle, as they say, and she makes these sex objects, but not like, sex toys, but let me say this. She makes a little playground set, but they're made to look like reproductive organs. Of course, the slide is a giant penis, and then of course the sandpit's a boob, and ha ha ha. Look at this flower painting I made. They're all little vagina petals. Ha ha ha, we get it. There's sex on her mind, and she's a sex freak, and every single joke is sex, 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 sex. It's not clever, but of course you're like, oh my god, it's hilarious because it's talking about sex, and it's so blunt with it. Ha ha ha. And again, I have no problem with sex humor, but it's gotta be spontaneous. It's got to be funny. It's got to be unexpected. When every single line out of a character's mouth is, raunchy and really sexual, it loses that bite. Comedy is unexpected, but when you know that it's coming, it doesn't have that punch. It doesn't have that, haha, oh my god, I can't believe I'm actually watching this on screen moment. But that's the movie, right? They just go from different location to different location. They go into wacky hijinks. Oh my god, you brought drugs? Drugs are not supposed to be here, and yet drugs are here. Of course, wacky hijinks ensue. And of course, this is the female gaze movie, right? So of course you have these 4 girls trip. You see a big bunch of hot, burly dudes walk in the door. I'm gonna have sex with them. I wanna have sex with that one and that one and that one. And again, I have no problem with a female-led movie and females, going after these hot guys. Like, it's totally fine, but have some cleverness to it. Bridesmaids was clever. Bridesmaids was really well written, very well told, very well paced, very clever. And yes, it goes for some of the bottom of the barrel humor, like, in the street, right? But in that movie, it felt like there was some humanity to it. Now, I will admit that there is some humanity in here as well. It's just kind of tacked on at the end. But I will admit, though, that I did get emotional at some of the more serious themes and more serious scenes in the movie. I'm going, oh my god, I'm actually getting kind of emotional. Like, this is some really heartfelt stuff. And I do think there's actually a pretty nice message here, and the heart of this movie is in the right place, but when it's actually treading along, it feels very pandering and it feels very lazy. Now again, like I said, I'm a 27-year-old white dude, so if you are a 29-year-old Asian woman, some of the jokes, especially about Chinese culture, might resonate more with you. Like, so again, I can't speak to that because there are a lot of, jokes about different Chinese families going, oh no, you're Shanghai Chinese, and that's Beijing Chinese, and then what kind of Chinese is that? Are you racist? Those are Koreans. So they have some jokes like that, and again, some of them are funny. I will admit, I laughed a couple times in this movie, but there were a lot of moments where I'm just like, yep, okay, here's that joke. There it is. Okay, now they're gonna make a joke about this. Okay, there it is. It's very predictable, very paint by numbers, and again, laziness. The Vancouver airport is just one example, but there's also an example of they're in this one area, they're like stranded in the middle of the woods, and they're supposed to be lost. But then they return to that area and they know where they are. But it's supposed to be a different area, but it's like, we can clearly tell it's the same area, right? So, and again, I don't think that's just because I've been to these locations. I really do think that people will kind of notice, like, okay, you're kind of taking the audience to be fools, right? It's like moving the camera angle around and going, we're in a different location. It's like, no, you literally just moved the camera 30 degrees and you expect me to be in a different part of the world? No, you moved literally 30 degrees and a foot that way. So that's the issue. And I will admit, though, I wasn't like really cringing at this movie. Like, I did like the characters and I thought they had some pretty good chemistry. So when the more heartfelt moments came onto screen about friendship and sisterhood and learning what it takes to be who you really are, sure, it's tacked on, but it does feel like, they actually do mean it. And these characters, when they make up and they go through these low points and high points, like, I'm like, okay, well, I want these characters to get along. I do want these characters to have fun together. I do enjoy them. So again, you like the characters on screen, which definitely helps. Like, if you hated these characters, then this movie would be god awful. But you do like the characters and the heart is in the right place. I just think that the padding of the movie is just really lackluster. And again, guys, like I said, I'm definitely not the right demographic for this movie, but I do think that good movies can kind of transcend that. So for my overall rating, I'm gonna give this movie a 2 out of 5. It's just okay. It's not terrible by any means. Like I said, if you want a movie for girls' night, you want something really, really raunchy, and it might not be the most complex thing in the world, you just want to have a good time and laugh. And maybe if you're an Asian woman or you come from Asian descent, this movie might work more for you because you can relate more to the culture, relate more to the humor. Again, I'm not too sure about that. I can only talk about my own personal experience with the movie, and honestly, That's the thing. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone else outside of that one circumstance. So there you go, guys. Those are my thoughts on Joyride. Let me know what you thought of the movie down in the comment section down below. And if you guys like this video, then definitely hit like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And if you want to support the channel even to a further extent, then Patreon is down below. We have monthly watch-alongs. I give you guys movies every single month, and you guys get content early. So if that interests you, the link is down below in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.